Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again. This is going to be another wrestling review. So, right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the video does look a little choppy, at least from my end. Hopefully, once this is uploaded, it'll look not as choppy, but it does look a little bit choppy on my end. I've been trying to fix it for the past couple days, sadly, to very little avail. Now, thankfully, it wasn't as bad as it was, so I'm still trying to troubleshoot that. For now, it's not too bad from what I'm noticing, but do bear with me. But, of course, because it is the month of November, we are still in the thick of our Survivor Series reviews for the month, going back into the vault for some Survivor Series matches. And if you remember, not too long ago, some time ago here on the channel, I believe, if not this year, then last year, we looked at Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, that all time iconic match at WrestleMania 13, a very classic match in so many regards. And Bret Hart and Steve Austin, one of the classic rivalries in so many regards. But now we jump back to see a bit more of a sort of origin points, or at least earlier on in the rivalry, between Bret Hart and Steve Austin with this match. So, what happens when they meet several months earlier before WrestleMania at another one of the Big Four, or Big Five, if you will, depending on what you consider Big Four or Big Five. Let's find out. Of course, I am talking about Bret Hart versus Steve Austin at Survivor Series 1996. So, as always, I am not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys good time, and I had a really great time watching this match. Between this match and the WrestleMania 13 match, of course, you gotta give it to WrestleMania 13, but this match was still really phenomenal as well, and really, he served as a really great sort of point of origin, if you will, for this rivalry in a way. But what exactly went down as these two slugged it out? Let's find out. So, of course, if you've seen these reviews before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match, and I am just going back into the upload to see when exactly I did the review for Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. I believe it was last year around WrestleMania time. Yep, there it is. And so go check it out on the channel if you haven't already, of course. But starting with what I liked about the match, I think the action was really fantastic, and it's made even more potent by the storytelling. Pretty much the story being, these two really don't like each other. These two have kind of had a bit of a grudge for a while, and both men really wanting to get the upper hand and over one another, and having that grudge to try to prove which one is the best between these two. Now, this would carry for several months going in, of course, to WrestleMania 13, much later in the timeline. But at this time, the rivalry between these two very much it's still in its infancy for the most part. But these two slugging out, trying to figure out which exactly is the best between them, and you definitely feel it here in this match. Now, commentary also puts it over. Of course, the commentary team for this match is Jim Ross and Vince McMahon, and it's crazy to think how right now we see, at least in terms of this match, we see Vince McMahon being a lot more of the straight-laced kind of face commentator, and showing respect to both Bret Hart and Steve Austin, when a year from now in 1997, very different story. At least he's on screen and a little bit off screen when it comes to Bret Hart. But Uh, but nevertheless, but you definitely feel it in this match with both men really going after each other. Are very methodical. A lot of not just fast-paced, exciting offense, but also very psychological offense. Hence, that's the phenomenal thing about Bret Hart, and or among many, not just the technical prowess, but the mannerism and the emotion. You definitely feel it whenever you see a Bret Hart match, and it's the point where I feel so much of a lot of modern wrestling is you can find ties of it back to Bret Hart and how he operates. It's with what he does. There's a reason he was called the Excellence in Execution, and I think this match is very much, and of course the match at WrestleMania 13. But I think this match especially is a prime example of that. At this point, the dynamic was that Bret Hart was the face and Austin was the heel. By the time we got to WrestleMania 13, the roles would be kind of reversed, but Bret is the face here. Austin is the heel, and you definitely you see the roles being really laid out, and you feel the grudge between these two, at least in terms of storyline within this match. And Austin and before the knee braces, before or either knee brace on his knee. So the rare no knee brace Austin, and this was before Austin's neck injury, meaning we get to see a lot of Austin's technical prowess. I think the double-edged sword about Austin being such a big part of the Attitude Era and a lot of what he did in the Attitude Era and a lot of his style switching up to be more of a brawler in the Attitude Era is I feel like a lot of people do forget how technically proficient Austin was. Of course, a lot of that had to change due to his neck injury. He ironically at the hands of the other Hart brother, that being Owen, but of course, accidents happen in wrestling, but also, it's so fluid to see Austin really being able to match technical prowess with Bret here, and to the point where we see a lot of hold submissions and everything, including Austin busting out the $1 Million Dream. By this point, Austin was Stone Cold. He was no longer the ringmaster, but still busting out the $1 Million Dream. Of course, the ringmaster was kind of the protege to Ted DiBiase, but busting out the $1 Million Dream here, but it cost him as Bret Hart rolls him up. Similar to what we saw this year with Cody beating Gunther at Crown Jewel. Also, Bret kind of getting the surprise win over Austin, but things far from over. And I do like how the finish does kind of protect both guys in a way without needing to have like a non-finish, like a count out or a DQ. We have a decisive winner with Bret and kind of eking out the win over Austin, kind of surprising him with the roll up here as Austin refused to, and that's what they put over on commentary, that Austin refusing to let go of the $1 Million Dream, and it's ultimately what cost him. But yeah, just really awesome match, and definitely, if anything, if you watch this and then you would watch WrestleMania 13 several months later, like if you watched it at the time, or if you watched this before watching the match at WrestleMania 13, this I think is a really great appetizer for what they would do at WrestleMania 13. He kind of a prelude, a predecessor for things to come, and it sets up nicely. And lest we forget, also, this is technically a number one contenders match because as Bret winning here and Bret does, Vince gets up from the commentary table and he stands up. At least he doesn't full on leave the table, but he does like shake Bret's hand and after the match kind of congratulate him. Oh, what a different story will happen a year later. And yeah, I know I referenced it earlier in the video, but it bears repeating. But this match is number one contender, so contendership sort of match. So Bret will face the WWF champion, and whether it be Shawn Michaels or Suga Hosed at the next In Your House pay-per-view after that. And it was In Your House 12, it's time, where Bret would face the WWE champion. Who was it? Well, it wasn't Shawn who fought Undertaker at WrestleMania 13, but yeah, so just really, really great match. Sets up nicely to not only continue the rivalry because they are able to have the winner here, but also keep it kind of open-ended to where you can justify continuing the rivalry. The rivalry. Yeah, I should say, man, I cannot speak today. It leaves it open-ended to where you can continue the rivalry, which they of course do going to WrestleMania 13, but still having quite a bit of meat on the bones when it comes to this match as well. So WWF / WWE kind of gets to have their cake and eat it as well, and in a way, if you think about it, it also sets up towards the next era. Now, at this point, we are still in the new generation era, slowly transitioning to the Attitude Era. We are also in the thick of the Monday Night Wars, but the Monday Night Wars are officially underway by the time this match happens. So this is kind of a glimpse into the future. Now, Bret wouldn't really be a part of WWF as the Attitude Era really came into its apex and everything. By that time, Bret would be in WCW, but especially with Austin, I think this is a very nice glimpse into the future between them. So yeah, a really awesome match, and it sets up nicely for things down the line. And if I did have to kind of nitpick a little bit, it's the fact that Austin did hit a stunner just for Bret to almost immediately kick out did kind of suck. Like, finisher kickouts, they were a lot more rare back then, I'll give them that, but they kind of tried to play it off as like, oh, Austin, because Austin did it near the ropes, and he kind of caught Bret by surprise, but pulling away from the ropes and hopes to pin him so Bret can't use the rope break, and then Bret kicks out. They kind of try to use that. Oh, Austin took too much time, but so that did kind of suck. But otherwise, that's kind of just a nitpick. It got still really awesome match. I definitely recommend checking it out. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see it as soon as it drops. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match, my review of the match. Did you like this match? Did you dislike my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.